Morning, everyone. This is David coming to you today from the 11th deck of the Celebrity Silhouette. And I am sailing into, or cruising into, Stockholm, Sweden this morning. And what you see behind me are a bunch of different archipelagos that you have on the approach into, into Stockholm. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little after 5 a.m. in the morning. Sun started coming up about 4:15 today, and went down sometime close to 10 o'clock last night. So in May you get long days here in Scandinavia. So welcome to MSOM 602, and I wanted to do lesson 4 review, lesson 5 preview for you this morning. Sorry I'm talking rather light because I don't want to wake up the other folks who may be on different decks here this morning. All right, so let's get started. Lesson 4 review. Talked in the discussion board about, is leadership caught or taught? And I presented a few things to you, and you'll see that Warren Bennis, who happens to be the father of leadership resources, I mean, you see a lot of stuff from Bennis, both written and a lot of speeches that he's given. Had a point of view in that area. I tend to think that people are born with certain gifts and abilities. From our Christian heritage, those are called spiritual gifts. From our professional heritage, those are called strengths. And so my assumption has always been that certain people are born with the capacity to do things. Now, whether or not they use that capacity or not, it's up to them. But that's kind of my thought on that topic. I enjoyed looking at your comments on those as well. The second thing in lesson 4 was the second memo exercise. Remember, the first memo exercise is what is servant leadership. So you spent time defining that for your employees. And then the second memo exercise is why. One of the things that I want to encourage you to do in your current management career and your future management career is to make sure that you clearly define why for people. If you don't define why for them, they're going to make it up in their mind, and many times what they make up may be totally different than the why that you have in the back of your mind. So I've never understood why managers have not defined and talked about the why in things. They still may not agree with you, but at least they understand. And so why make them guess, right? And so it was important in this memo exercise to describe for your organization why you're moving to servant leadership. That happens in any type of change environment too. If you have a change management environment, people need to not only understand what the change is, but they need to understand why you're moving in that direction and moving away from some of the things that maybe you've held sacred over the years, okay? And so that was memo exercise 2 in lesson 4. The application this week talked about moral viruses and the challenges that leaders have with trust, the challenges that you have in a lot of different areas. And this was a pretty deep and heady discussion, and I'll be really interested to see how you approach that from your paper perspective. Again, one of the key things that you have to do in any of these things is to make sure that you provide a definition before you provide an application. So make sure that you do that. Make sure that before you make any type of outcome or develop some sort of thought process behind what you're doing in those areas, that you have defined the terms that you're using. Okay, that was lesson 4. Lesson 5 has a discussion board. The first discussion board this week, actually there's just one, talks about your leadership point of view. And who are the key influencers in your life? Let's face it, as you go forward, a lot of your thoughts, or some of your thoughts, may be based upon other people who've had influence in your life. Now, the way that I want you to approach this, I don't want you to approach it with just one person. I mean, many people pick their mother, or their father, or their grandmother. And not that I don't want you to do that. Obviously, if they are key influencers in your life, and you need to do that. But I want you to look at it on 3 legs of the stool. I want you to look at it personally. Who's a key influencer in your life personally? Who's a key influencer in your life professionally? And perhaps who's a key influencer in your life spiritually? So look at them from the different components of your life. Okay? So that is discussion board 1. And then the final memo exercise 3, really wraps up your memo exercise and your thought process on the movement of your organization or your department to servant leadership. Okay? And it is answering the question, so what? Here's something that happens in change management. Again, memo exercise 1 was, what is servant leadership? Memo exercise 2, why is the organization or your department moving to servant leadership? And then the final one is, so what? I've been in organizations for many years. I've led organizations for many years. I've done a lot of consulting projects, and I'm thoroughly convinced that unless you very clearly articulate to the people in the organization why you're doing something and what the impact is on them, then the likelihood of the change sticking is diminished. And so people need to understand not only what's in it for the organization, but what's in it for them. So this memo exercise, as you present to your employees some of the potential benefits to them specifically of moving to this servant leadership model. So that's the so what portion of this. So I'll be interested to see how you approach this particular memo exercise. And then the application this week is from the book 5 Minutes on Mondays. I love this application. It's by Alan Lurie giving a speech to a group of graduating rabbis. And he talks to them about really being a servant, about going forth and putting action to what they've learned. And so in the episode called Go Forth is what I call this one. So Go Forth, which means the action component of servant leadership. So I'll be interested, again, on this one to see how you approach this particular application. All right? Hope you're having a good week. Look forward to seeing your work this week. Work hard, study hard, and I will chat with you soon. Take care. Call me if you need me.